Hi everybody, thanks for coming back. Today's video is going to be about team building. Using these activities will improve your group's communication and problem solving skills. So thanks for coming, and here we go.
Boom, chicka boom.
I said a boom, chicka boom.
I said
Okay, the next one is called turning over a new leaf. This activity can be done in two ways. So the first way is get a tarp that is close to the size of your group. You want to make it super tight for them, but you want to have your group stand on this quilt and flip it over without stepping off of the tarp. So your group's standing on a tarp, they need to reverse the sides, so what part was on the bottom is now up on top without touching the ground or stepping off the tarp. Now, the other way to do this is my favorite. Get a bed sheet, depending on the size of your group, and get some permanent markers that are different colors. So, lay out your bed sheet on the floor, give everybody a marker, and have them write down a goal that they have in their life. It could be next year, 2 years, or 20 years away, but have them write down a goal and then sign their name on it. Now, flip over the tarp, have them change colors of markers, and then have them write down what is stopping them from achieving that goal right now. So they'll write on the back side whatever's stopping them from reaching their goal. So you have one side with positive, one side with negative. You have your group stand on the negative side, and they have to flip that sheet over so the positive side is up. And this is a great thing to do in a classroom because you can keep the sheet and you can hang it up in the classroom on the wall, and when your students act up, you could say, hey little Billy, look on this sheet. You wrote down that you wanted to get an A in math. How are you going to get an A in math when you're joking around? So it's a really good thing to keep around. It's called turn over a new leaf. Okay, what would team building be without a hula hoop? So I'm going to go over 3 really quick hula hoop activities that you can do with your group. The first one is have them make a circle holding hands and put the hula hoop in between their hands. So the hoop is dangling between 2 people's hands. Now the goal for this is to pass it all the way around the group back to the beginning without touching the ground. So you'll be moving like this to get the hoop to go. Once it gets back to the beginning, tell them it took them 20 seconds to do it and say, let's see if we can beat that record. So have them do it again, and of course they probably will beat it. So that's one, the hula hoop pass. Okay, the other one that you can do that's a lot of fun is a helium hoop. And set the hula hoop down on the ground. Have your group kneel around the hula hoop and have them put out one finger and put it under the hula hoop. Now their goal for this activity is to lift this hula hoop chest level evenly. Can't be crooked. It's got to come up completely straight. And you'll find out that's really hard for them to do, but it is a lot of fun. Okay, the favorite one for me is Mr. Squeeze. Give your group a hula hoop, or 2 or 3, depending on the size, and see how many people they can fit in it. It'll start off with a low number, and because people are not accustomed to being touched, but when they get done with 7, tell them you're going for the world record, let's get 8. And you want to keep squeezing that group together until you can absolutely not fit a single person more inside of that hula hoop. So there's 3 great activities you can use with the hula hoop, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, I'm going to throw this in even though I know you already know it, but it's called telephone. You have your group line up in a straight line. The person at the beginning says a phrase like, we need milk, and they pass it down from one person to the other until it gets to the end, and see if you have the same thing that the person up front said. If you have a fairly larger group, I promise you what you end up with will not even be close to what you started with. So anyway, that's called telephone. Okay, I already went over this in Icebreaker. It's called Lineup, to where you have to get your kids to line up by their birth date, their birth month, their telephone number, whatever the case may be. But you can even make this more challenging if you go out and while you're walking around through the woods and you see a log that's dead, that's wide enough for them to stand on. This is a perfect activity to use on that log. It's very challenging. They're going to have to use their communication skills, their problem solving skills. But anyway, if you find a log, have your group stand on the log and tell them to move around and line up by height. Tell them to line up by their last 2 digits of their phone number, by the month of their birth. You can absolutely pick anything at all that you want. But I highly recommend this activity after the kids have been at camp for a couple days. It's very challenging, but they come away with it with some great skills that they'll use for communication and problem solving for the rest of their lives. Okay, this is a great activity to do towards the end of camp. Okay, it's called the Mousetrap Maze. Now, the reason you want to do this towards the end of camp is so your group has had some time together working on their communication skills. This is an activity that you're only going to do one time, so you're going to have to pick, your group's going to have to pick who they want to do it. Now, this sounds crazy, but it's a lot of fun. Get, I don't know, 3 dozen mouse traps and set them and put them on the floor, but leave a walkway so the person can get through it without stepping on a mousetrap. Now, you have the person walking through the maze, they're going to be blindfolded, and you're going to pick one person from the group to give him instructions. Now, this sounds creepy and weird, but if you step on it and it pops, if you have tennis shoes on, you're fine. I wouldn't let you use open-toed shoes, but as long as you have closed-toed shoes on, it won't hurt you at all. In fact, you won't even feel it. Now, if you want to take this to an extreme level, which I tried to do every year the last week of camp, and I got 100 mouse traps and set them up and put a maze in it. And it's so funny when you use that many, because if somebody steps on one and it pops, it'll start popping the ones all around it. So it's hilarious to see somebody step on it and then 100 mouse traps go off all over the room. So anyway, the Mousetrap Maze, one of my favorites. I'm sure you'll like it too. And let me know if you like this one, if you do it, by leaving some comments on the video. All right, next. Okay, the Blindfolded Tent. I know a lot of camps, I did. We took our kids on overnights away from camp to where they slept in tents. And tents nowadays are really easy to put together. So here's a good one for you. Pick somebody out of your group to be blindfolded, then pick somebody out of your group to be the communicator, and you have the person tell the person blindfolded how to put up this tent, okay? Really simple. Tents these days only have 4 or 5 poles on them to put them up. So you have got one guy blindfolded, you have somebody talking to him, and the goal of this activity is to have him set up that tent just by getting directions.
Boom, chicka boom.
I said a boom, chicka boom.
I said